What's going on, everybody? It's your boy F.N.G Moto, and I'm gonna give a second shot at this voiceover video, so bear with me. But if you see that I took the criticism of or recommendations, I should say, from one of my viewers about downloading a screen recording software to make it a bit more presentable, so here you go. Hopefully this works out pretty well. This is the first time I'm using it. Anyway. But what I wanted to talk about, as you can see up on the screen, is the differences between the Chief Dark Horse and the Indian Scout. And I'm not talking about the difference of specs. I'm talking about whether or not the Indian Chief Dark Horse is actually a good value buy over the Indian Scout. And I think you might be a bit surprised at what I found out when I did some number crunching. Nothing really what's what I'm looking for. I didn't do any creative accounting. I just threw some numbers together, and what I found out was pretty interesting. So stick around, and hopefully you'll find it as interesting as I did. But first, let's roll the intro. Okay, now I'm going to start off with what is available to you on a Chief and take it from there. Now, some of you may not value tech as much as other people do, as much as I do. So the infotainment system that comes stock with the Chief is actually a pretty big deal for me and to some other buyers out there. With that infotainment system, you get the Indian Ride Command, which is free for the first year. And then after that, if you feel like paying for it, great. If not, then don't. But you also get the weather and traffic overlays, which I think is pretty cool. It's touchscreen with gloves, and it integrates with your cell phone via Bluetooth. And if you wear a helmet with a headset, it'll also integrate with your headset and actually even give you a battery indicator of your headset, which I think is pretty badass. You also get ride modes, which, you know, some people say are a gimmick. In my opinion, I've never had to use it because I've never had it, but I think it would at least be helpful in the rain to be able to desensitize, for the lack of a better term, the throttle. You also get cruise control, full LEDs on a Chief, and another big thing that is a winner for me is keyless ignition. That to me is huge for me, and then I'm gonna assume that for other people as well, because if not, India wouldn't have decided to add that as a feature of a Dark Horse. Now, the Dark Horse comes in at $16,999 in black smoke with ABS, and that's the jumping off point I'm gonna use for this comparison. Is a Scout black ABS, and then the Bobber black ABS. Try to keep it as close as possible. Now, you have some aftermarket options with the Scout to be able to come close to what the Chief offers you, as far as infotainment and some of the other goodies. You can use your cell phone like I do, but I've learned with my previous cell phone that the vibration does have a negative impact on your cell phone's camera, so you can actually damage your phone. Whether or not that means anything to you, that's up to you, but that is an option you have. You can also purchase GPSs for your motorcycle. They range from anywhere between $150 to $600. I've never used one, so I don't know how good they are. There are no, as of right now, aftermarket options for the ride modes, which for some might be a big deal. For others, who cares? Some people don't think it's a big deal. You can get a really nice integrated cruise control from a company over in Australia. I'll link it in the description if you're interested. It is a $600 upgrade, but it actually does look pretty good on the bike. So that's an option. The only downside is if you have a problem with it. The company is, again, in Australia, and I do not know if they have any stateside support. You get a LED headlight on the Chief, the Pathfinder LED, which is nice because I have one on my Scout Bobber and the Scout 60. But you don't have to go that route. You can go on Amazon and get yourself a Senpai for about 40 bucks, and you know, you can go up as high as, geez, probably $600 for an LED headlight. And then the keyless ignition. The keyless ignition is an option that you can get through Digital Guard Dog. It starts off at about 300 bucks and it goes all the way up to 600. So depending on the options that you get, you're gonna dictate how much you pay for it. So with all that said, with the Scouts coming in at $12,399, to get some of the features that the Chief offers to you stock, you spend about $1,090 just in parts, no labor, and that'll bring you up to about $13,489, which makes the Chief Dark Horse 3,500 bucks more expensive than the Scout on the low end. Now, what you get for that extra $3,500 on top of some of the other features that I mentioned earlier, you get the 116. Some people love that motor. I thought it was a good motor. I enjoyed riding. Riding it, the Springfield with it. Excuse me. I'm a bit nervous, so bear with me. The gas tank on the Dark Horse is a little bit bigger. Not a whole lot. A little bit over half a tank, 0.7 gallons to be exact. The suspension on the Dark Horse appears to be better. It's a bigger diameter, 46 millimeters for the Dark Horse and 41 for the Scout. You get the seamless integration of all the stuff that you would have to buy aftermarket for the Scout. In my opinion, you know, the stock factory installs just look better most of the time. You get cruise control, again, that's an add-on. You get the navigation, another add-on. You go where I'm getting with this. You also get the, and who cares, I don't know if anybody really cares about this, 12-volt charging. I've never used 12-volt charging, even in my car. And re-cylinder deactivation, which, I mean, heat to me off the Scout isn't a big deal, so, but that is a nicety that they threw that in on the Dark Horse. Now on the high end, you can spend up to $2,400 and then come in at $14,799 for a Scout, and you're looking at a difference of $2,200 between the Dark Horse and a high-end modded Scout, and that's going to give you a difference of $2,200 between the two. So $2,200 and you get all the extra, you know, like I mentioned earlier, the bigger motor and all the extra stuff that comes with it. You know, that might be appealing to some. Now with the bobber, you'd be surprised, and that was a bit as well. It's actually a better deal if you have a bobber, or if you're looking at a bobber or a Dark Horse, because not only do you have to purchase all the other stuff with the Scout that you would have to with the Scout, but with a bobber, the biggest complaint with the bobber, aside from the seat, is the suspension. You can get a low-end suspension. I think the Progressive 413s run about $299, where you can go as high as the Olin's for $1,000. If you go on the low end with everything on a bobber, you're going to be spending about $13,788, which will give you a difference of $3,211 from the Dark Horse. And if you go to the high end, you're going to be spending about $15,799, which will give you just a difference of $1,200 from the Dark Horse. $1,200, you get bigger motor and all the other stuff like I mentioned before. I'm not going to go through all that again, but you can start to see that there is some value there for the Chief. And as I was putting all these numbers together, I started thinking to myself, Indian just basically gave us a air-cooled version of the Scout. I don't know if anybody else has come to this realization, but I was like, well, that's basically what they did. For a little extra money, you get an air-cooled version of an Indian Scout. And who knows if they'll even bother to put a liquid cooled version of this, to make a liquid cooled version of the Chief, because it exists. It's the Scout. For some little bit of extra money, you can pretty much, if air cooled means that much to you, excuse me, if liquid cooled means that much to you, you'll spend the money to get it close to what it offers you on the Chief, and you'll be happy. Why would you give up a Scout that you spent this money on to make it close to what the Chief offers, and then maybe a year or two later Indian decides to put a liquid cooled motor in that chassis? You basically have the same bike. So, well, I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope it helps somebody out. I hope it raises some interesting questions. Leave me your comments in the comment section about what you think. If any of this was useful, did I just waste my time and your time? Hopefully I didn't. Hopefully I did provide some value to you. And excuse all the stuttering and the stop and go speaking. I'm a bit nervous because this is the first time I've done this. I've always been told that I have a voice for silent film and a face for radio. So there you have it. Let me know what you think. Did I miss anything? Did I leave anything out? Which is basically the same thing. Was this a stupid video? Did you enjoy it? Let me know. If you haven't subscribed, please consider doing so. It really helps the channel. Also, if you enjoyed the video, give it a thumbs up. If you didn't, give it a thumbs down. Just let me know what it is you didn't like about the video. And hopefully we'll see you on the road. All right, this is your boy, F.N.G Moto, reminding you to ride safe, keep the shiny side up. I'm out. Peace.